Hello dear YouTube viewers, I hope you're doing well. Okays, let's start our video. The sun rises over a quiet suburban town where the streets are just beginning to stir. In a modest house at the edge of a cul-de-sac, Jack Carter starts his day. He's a tall, rugged man in his late 30s with a stoic expression and hands roughened from years of work and battle. Once a highly trained soldier, Jack now lives a quiet life, far removed from the chaos of his past. His mornings revolve around preparing breakfast and getting his 7-year-old daughter, Mia, ready for school. Mia is the light of his world, sweet, observant, and full of questions. She asks about his scars sometimes, but Jack never tells her the full story. He simply says they're from before she was born, and changes the subject with a gentle smile. Jack lost his wife while he was overseas, a pain he carries silently every day. Since then, Mia has been his reason to keep going. Jack works as a mechanic at a local auto shop, where he keeps his head down and doesn't socialize much. He's respected for his skill, but considered distant and private. Most people know little about him other than that he's a single dad and a war veteran. Occasionally, Jack's mind drifts into flashbacks, tense, fast-moving images of combat, fire, and screaming voices. Though he avoids conflict now, his every move still carries the discipline and awareness of someone who's seen too much. He walks with quiet strength, always scanning, always aware. Behind his calm exterior is a man who hasn't forgotten how to fight, but prays he'll never have to again. It's a breezy afternoon when Jack takes Mia to the local park after school. The place is filled with the usual laughter and chatter of children playing, parents talking, and dogs running off-leash. Jack sits on a bench near the edge of the playground, watching Mia climb the jungle gym with a rare smile on his face. For a brief moment, everything feels normal, peaceful even. But Jack's instincts, honed over years in combat, don't stay quiet for long. He notices a dark van circling the parking lot slowly. Once, twice. The windows are tinted. It doesn't belong. His eyes narrow. He straightens slightly, alert. Then, in a heartbeat, it happens. The van screeches to a halt. The side door slides open. 3 masked men jump out and snatch a little boy playing near the wooded edge of the park. Screams erupt. Parents yell, but no one moves. Panic freezes the crowd. Someone fumbles with their phone, trying to call the police. Children are crying. The van starts to peel away. Jack doesn't hesitate. He turns to Mia, kneels quickly, and says in a firm, calm voice, "Stay behind this bench. Don't move until I come back. You hear me?" She nods, eyes wide, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Without another word, Jack takes off in a sprint. No weapon, no backup, just a father, driven by instinct and a refusal to let another child be taken. Jack runs harder than he has in years, his breath tight in his chest, but his focus razor sharp. The van speeds ahead, but Jack doesn't lose it. He knows this town, every back road, every shortcut, every blind turn. He cuts through a gravel alley, leaps over a fence, and follows the van's path as it disappears down an overgrown trail near the industrial outskirts. His military training kicks in without thought. He scans the ground for signs, tire tracks still warm in the dirt, broken branches, fresh exhaust in the air. He follows the trail to a long-abandoned warehouse, just outside town, hidden behind a chain-link fence and a row of trees. The van is parked beside it, engine still warm. Jack crouches in the shadows, observing every detail. His heartbeat is steady now, controlled, focused. He sees 6 men moving in and out of the warehouse, rough, fast-moving, communicating in hand signals and low voices. They're armed. Jack recognizes the coordination. These aren't amateurs. This is a trafficking ring, the kind he's encountered overseas. One of them pulls the kidnapped boy from the van and drags him inside. The child is crying softly, tied at the wrists. Jack's jaw tightens. He checks his phone 1 bar. Useless. Even if he called the police, they wouldn't get there in time. The men are preparing to move again. The boy doesn't have long. Crouched in silence, Jack studies their patterns. Entry points. Blind spots. He notes the timing between their movements, the strength and posture of each man. He calculates how long it will take to neutralize them, how much ground he can cover before one shouts or fires. No badge. No gun. Just instincts, training, and purpose. Jack exhales slowly. He makes his decision. He's going in. Jack slips through a broken side door of the warehouse, barely making a sound. The interior is dim, littered with rusted tools, old crates, and stacks of forgotten equipment. He moves low and fast, his breath steady, eyes scanning. Every sense is alive. Second 1 to 4. He spots the first man standing near a corner, texting on his phone. Jack creeps behind him and locks in a silent chokehold. Within seconds, the man slumps unconscious to the floor, caught before he can make a sound. Jack gently lowers him, already moving forward. Second 5 to 10. A second man rounds a corner, with a rifle slung lazily over his shoulder. Jack grabs a metal pipe from the floor and smashes the weapon from his grip before driving the pipe into his stomach. As the man doubles over, Jack slams the blunt end into his jaw, knocking him cold. Second 11 to 18. Two more rush in from opposite sides after hearing the commotion. Jack doesn't hesitate. One swings a crowbar. Jack ducks, twists the attacker's arm behind his back, and fractures it with a sharp upward motion. The man screams. Jack uses him as a shield against the second, who tries to tackle him. Jack drops both with a sweep of the pipe and a strike to the neck. Precise, efficient, and brutal. Second 19 to 26. The fifth man charges with a knife, shouting. Jack sidesteps, catches his wrist, and flips him onto the concrete floor with an audible crack. The blade clatters away. Jack kicks it aside. The sixth and final man turns to run toward the van. Jack grabs a broken broomstick and hurls it like a spear. It slams into the man's legs, sending him sprawling. Jack pounces before he can rise, pinning him down. Silence falls. 6 men. 26 seconds. Jack breathes heavily, sweat mixing with blood on his brow. His ribs ache from a heavy blow, and his leg is starting to seize from an awkward landing, but he forces himself to stand. He hears muffled crying. Following the sound, he finds a boy tied up behind a stack of crates. Jack kneels beside him, his voice soft and steady. "It's okay. I'm here now. You're safe." The boy looks up, tears streaking his cheeks. Jack unties him gently, shielding him from the sight of the chaos left behind. He lifts the boy into his arms and walks back into the fading light, broken, bleeding, but victorious. Jack emerges from the warehouse, limping slightly, blood dripping from a cut above his brow. In his arms is the young boy, shaken but unharmed, clinging tightly to his rescuer. Sirens wail in the distance. Someone at the park must have finally gotten through. Within moments, police cars flood the dirt lot, officers jumping out with weapons drawn, unsure of what they're walking into. But the scene freezes as they take it all in. 6 men unconscious, disarmed, and some bound with whatever Jack could find. A van filled with evidence. And standing calmly amidst it all is a single man, unarmed, breathing heavily, his shirt torn, holding the child protectively. Jack raises his free hand and calmly says, "He's safe." The officers are stunned. They take Jack into custody, not out of suspicion, but protocol. At the station, Jack sits quietly during questioning, never raising his voice. Security footage from nearby traffic cameras supports his account. His background checks out. Former Special Forces, highly decorated, honorably discharged. No criminal record. No recent employment with any agency. Just a single dad trying to live a quiet life. The boy's parents arrive in tears, falling to their knees to thank Jack. They call him a hero. Jack just nods. By morning, the story has already gone viral. News outlets run the headline. Single dad soldier stops child trafficking ring unarmed. Social media explodes with praise, admiration, and disbelief. Jack becomes a reluctant hero, praised by strangers, pursued by reporters, but still the same quiet man who just wants to get back to his daughter. That night, after the chaos had settled and the cameras were gone, Jack returned home. His shirt was clean now, his wounds bandaged, but Mia saw right through him. She ran into his arms the moment he stepped through the door, holding him tighter than ever before. "I was scared you wouldn't come back," she whispered into his chest, her voice trembling. Jack knelt down, looking her in the eyes. I will always come back to you, Mia. Always. You're the reason I do everything." For a long moment, they sat in silence, wrapped in each other's arms. Then, unexpectedly, tears welled in Jack's eyes. Real, heavy tears, not from pain, but from release. He hadn't cried in years. Not since the night he got the call about his wife. But tonight, something in him cracked open. And Mia, without a word, simply hugged him tighter. Later, as he sat alone with a photo of his late wife, a memory drifted back, her voice, soft and steady, the night before his last deployment. "You don't need a badge to protect people. Just be who you are." In the weeks that followed, Jack was approached by a local veteran outreach center. They'd heard his story and asked if he'd speak to other vets, maybe help train at-risk teens. Jack hesitated, then accepted. What began as a few lessons turned into a full program. Jack taught discipline, self-defense, and how to find purpose again. He wasn't just healing others, he was healing himself. And through it all, he never missed a school pickup, a bedtime story, or a single moment with Mia. They were stronger now. Not just father and daughter, but survivors, together. A year later, the town feels different, safer, more awake. Jack walks hand in hand with Mia on her way to school, the morning sun casting soft light across the sidewalk. She's grown taller, more confident, skipping beside him with her backpack bouncing. As they pass the school wall, Mia stops and tugs his hand. "Look, Daddy," she says, pointing up. Painted on the brick is a mural, a tall silhouette of Jack mid-stride, holding a child in one arm. Bold words stretch across the image. "Real heroes don't always wear badges." Jack stares at it for a moment, emotion tightening in his chest. He doesn't say much, just smiles faintly and squeezes Mia's hand. As they continue walking, his voice echoes softly in his mind. "I didn't do it for the glory. I did it because someone had to. And if not me, then who?" Thanks for watching. For more videos, please subscribe our channel, American Latest Stories.